Hi, everyone, and thanks for tuning in. I am Coach Sherry, and today is day 39 of 90 days going live. I am doing a 90-day go live challenge, and I am doing that. It's going to lead up to and through my Sweet 16 of being on YouTube. If you are new to this channel, welcome. Thank you for checking me out and stopping by. This channel is about workforce development, career readiness, entrepreneurship, real life, real issues, and real talk. Yes, I've been on YouTube for 16 years almost, and not as a content creator, but as a viewer. And I evolved into a content creator, just adding information on YouTube, sharing things, my thoughts, my ideas, strategies for workforce development, strategies for your career, strategies if you are going into business or if you have a business, and just information that can help us all grow and evolve. So today I was thinking about, why do people lie? And so that is the question. Why do people lie? Now, growing up, I learned very early that lying is not ever going to lead to anything good. That at some point you're going to be caught. So why even bother? Growing and raising my children, I have three young adult children, and that is one of the first lessons that we taught them, is the importance of being honest, telling the truth. You want people to look at you and know that the conversation that you're having, the things that they're sharing, is the truth. You don't want to look at someone as they're talking to you and trying to decipher, is this true or not? What part of this may or may not be true? Because that's a waste of time, and you're not really able to fully focus on anything or what they're really saying, the point of it. Now, I always equate this to a dog drinking out of the toilet. Many of you have pets, but we had a trial baby, which was our boxer. His name was Dino. And if you know about boxers, they have a very flat face. And so if they're going to sniff anything, eat anything, they have to put their whole face in it. And I remember one time, and it only happened really once, maybe twice, because when we figured it out, we just closed the lid and closed the door to the bathroom. Because I remember we were in one room and our dog was in another, and we heard this noise, and it sounded like an echo, kind of like a lap, 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 like a loud drinking noise. Because even though boxers have these flat faces, they have extremely long tongues. And we were like calling our dog, Dino, Dino, what you doing? And he comes out. And boxers are the most hilarious dogs. They're like, I call them little kids in a dog's outfit. And he comes out as if he just had, one shot too many. And you could see the water dripping because their jowls are very juicy. And you add water to that. So his mouth was dripping wet. And we knew he had been drinking the toilet water, but he tried to come out as if he had not. And they're so expressionful until it almost looked like he wanted to say something, but of course he couldn't verbalize. And we was just like, oh my goodness. And to me, that's like a lie. You drinking out the toilet water, we hear you, but you come out with your mouth dripping wet trying to tell us you didn't drink out of the toilet water. Whenever I go into relationships, I've been married now for 29 years, but the most important thing for me with any relationships, be it with my spouse, with a friend, with a colleague, is trust. And trust determines and is built upon the things that you say, the things that you do. And I always, in the beginning of any relationship, especially one where it's a personal relationship, I always make that part of my expectations as a friend. Like, I want to know that the things that you're telling me are true. I want to be able to look at you and know that this is real. And I don't want to have to decipher. I don't want to have to have a word find to understand whether or not what you're saying is true. And thus far, I'm 54 years old, or 54 years young. So far, I've had a lot of success with that, just being honest. Again, even with our children, raising them, teaching them the importance of saying what they mean, meaning what they say, and in all aspects of what they do on a professional level, being truthful has definitely served them all very well. And as a parent, sometimes that truth that they share is a lot. I'm that type of parent that will talk regular, asking them about their day or what they've been up to, and I'll throw a curveball in there with something outrageous, just trying to find out where they are in their life, what are they doing, what have they been up to. And when they respond in an honest way and they keep the conversation going as if I never asked that particular question, it really pauses me. But you get what you ask for. And I wanted them to be honest. And I just asked that question. So they answered and they keep it moving. And I can do nothing but respect that. Even if the response isn't what I really wanted or hoped it would be, I have to still respect that response. I'm not going to get mad at it. I'd rather them tell me the truth than tell me a lie. And even if the lie is something I wanted to hear, if I know it wasn't the truth, it's going to make me feel bad. And I want to ask you, as you are coming into the live, or if you're watching this on replay, if you ask a question or if someone's telling you something, even if what they're saying, if it's what you had hoped it to be, and they're telling you, but it's not true, would you rather them tell you the truth or to continue with that lie? For me, I'd rather you tell me the truth, because if what you're telling me doesn't feel right to my soul, to my spirit, then I'm not going to feel good about that, or about you, or even about our relationship, because it's like, how do we move from this? What is it about, maybe even I do self-reflection, what is it about me that made you feel that you couldn't tell me the truth? I always want to seem as if, or I am, but I want people to perceive me as being someone that they can be truthful with, because that's how I am as a friend, as a partner, as a colleague, all of that. I am definitely someone that, will speak my truth. So I did some research, and, AI is a wonderful tool. Let me tell you, you can really research just about anything and it'll give you lots of information on it. And this particular site that I went on, it really allowed me to dig deep with why do people lie? And I was able to ask it questions. It was able to provide me with answers, as well as follow up questions that I may or may not have considered. But when they asked it, I clicked on it and it gave me further information. So I just wanted to come on here today to share with you the results from this research. And if this is a question that you have, if you feel that there are people in your circle that are lying to you or lying about situations, maybe hearing what I'm going to share is going to help you get through. Now, I was going to put up some keywords as I went, but it is getting late and I just didn't have time to really, gather that and put that all into place. So if you are coming on to this live or watching the replay, in the hopes that you would see some of those keywords so you can capture them. Or I know some people even pause the video at different parts so that they can write down the information. Hopefully you'll be able to still follow along without any problems. So, one of the questions that I asked was, why do grown-ups lie? I know with children, sometimes they don't know any better, but as grown-ups and as we are developing our young people, it's important to express to them the importance of that and to let them know, listen, we hear you drinking out of that toilet water. You're not fooling anyone. Because as a young person, they don't really understand the complexity of a grown-up's mind and all the things that we've experienced. And typically, it's hard to just tell a grown-up any old thing and expect them to fall for that okey doke. And as you get mature and you start experiencing life, you start to realize, wow, I know if I tell them this, they'll never believe it. And some things are the truth and are unbelievable. And I get that. Listen, there's nothing regular about my life. And I'm sure sometimes when I'm sharing things, people are like, yeah, right. but it's just always been my life has always been extraordinary. And so there are some times when that could be the case, but you know, as you get older and mature and you start to realize that, the gig is up, I need to really come clean, and this is not serving me well. It's not a long-term solution to continue on this path. Let me just start being truthful. The truth may hurt, the truth may sound ridiculous, but it's going to be an easier pill to swallow. So that's why I asked that question, why do grown-ups lie? And I just put it as people for the sake of this video, but that was the question that I asked AI. And so the answer that they gave was adults may lie for various reasons, and some of the most common being one, to avoid consequences or punishment. People often lie to avoid getting in trouble or facing negative repercussions for their actions or mistakes. And I know that's true for a lot of people. But again, when you are grown and you know the importance of making sound decisions, my thing is, one of the things we taught our children growing up is when they go to do something, good, bad, or indifferent, they need to ask themselves, is this something that I would be willing to share with my grandparents? Forget us, the parents, don't worry about us. You might be able to get over on us a little bit more, but the respect that a child has or should have for their grandparents, as well as their parents, but especially for the elders in their family, we would say, when they would go out, before you do anything ridiculous, think about if grandma or grandpa or papa or nana finds out, how would that make you feel? How do you think that would make them feel? So before you do anything crazy, consider that. I appreciate you, Melvin Pittman, for coming in. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that you are finding value in this topic. So, so that's one of the reasons why people sometimes will lie, to avoid consequences or punishment. But in the long run, it will all catch up to you. At the end of the day, it will catch up to you. At the end of life, it will catch up to you. The second is to obtain benefits or rewards. Lying can be used to gain something desirable that may not be obtainable through honesty, such as a job, money, or admiration. And people lie to, they may embellish what they do or who they are or how they look, to get to that relationship, to get to that next situation. But again, how long can they hold that? They always say, to be a liar you have to have a great memory, and not a lot of people have great memories. As time goes on, as you start to get more relaxed and you start to see, hey, these people really care about me. I'm so mad that I had to lie to get them, in your mind, you thinking you have to be this other thing for them to appreciate you or to receive you. But but that's not always the case. And I see Melvin Pittman is saying lawyers. Yeah, that's one of the things that is a stereotype about a lawyer, is that they lie, to get what they want. Sometimes they may not believe in their client or in the business that they are representing, but because that's their lane, they have to do what they have to do. I remember, law school, I was on track to go to law school, and I felt like I didn't know enough about law or didn't have enough worldly experience to just go into law school right out of undergrad. I did work for my family's business, and in undergrad, I did work as an investigator for the public defender's office. I always thought I wanted to go into criminal law. And I found that as an investigator for the public defenders, that it was burnout was real. The cases that you deal with, the people that you meet, the crimes that you encounter, it can really do a lot to your mental. And at 21, I just didn't feel that I would want to do that day in and day out. So I wanted to explore other areas of law. And I got a great career, in Manhattan downtown, and worked in an environmental law firm, multi-million dollar contracts they would, have. They dealt with companies that had extremely deep pockets. And if you've ever seen the movie, I believe it's called Aaron Brockovich or something like that, or any of those movies dealing with, I believe it's Dow Corning, where they talk about the frying pans and just environmental issues. It could be with the water, and how people are harmed because of the environment, the things that a company might do. It could be, back in the day when they had gas stations, and when the gas stations went out and somebody may have bought the property and decided to build a development on there. Well, the gas tanks were still underground, and maybe some of it kind of seeped into the water system, and it impacted the families, or with cigarettes, or with cars. But if you are a lawyer and you're representing that defendant that maybe there's a class action against, you have to know that some people have been harmed, but that's your job, and you have to do the best to represent them. And it's sometimes it's just saying, you're saying what's on the paper, and but it still may not be the whole truth for it. The third thing is to protect themselves or others. Adults may lie to prevent physical harm, embarrassment, or to shield someone from punishment or consequences. That's when you go into protection mode, and you're just telling someone what they want to hear. So maybe that, if it's an abusive relationship, if it's verbal or physical, or you feel like there's going to be some danger down the line, you may say things so that you can prevent those things from happening, and you can get away. Another is to maintain privacy or avoid awkward situations. Some lies are told to avoid revealing personal information or to get out of uncomfortable social situations. You know, that's when you tell people, oh, I have to go, I have to get up early, or no, I'm not going to go, I have something else to do. And it's funny because you don't really see that as a lie, but it's still not really telling the full truth. And sometimes, do you have to tell the truth in those instances? Do you have to say, I don't feel like being with you all this evening? And really, when you do say the truth, which, if that's the case, it definitely makes you feel lighter. You don't feel like, you have to come up with something. If you feel like you have to come up with something, know that you about to lie. You are about to lie. And why not be truthful and just say, it's been a long week. I'm really not up to having all that laughter or conversation. I just want to have a chill evening. And saying, instead of saying something like, I have to get up early. I just can't do it. No, just say the truth. The next is out of habit or addiction. And for some individuals, lying becomes a deeply ingrained habit or compulsive behavior, even when there is no clear benefit. And that's for those you ever hear someone say something that's so ridiculous, and you just look at them and be like, wow, why they're lying for no reason. No one even asked them all of that. They didn't even have to say that. But because lying is so ingrained in them, such a part of who they are, most everything they say, every other word is a lie. And when that happens, you really need to have self-awareness, and read the room, check the environment that you're in. That is not necessary. Um, when you find yourself doing something habitually that is not serving a real purpose, that's when you need to really reflect and pull back and develop better habits that are not going to be as harmful. Yes, those would be those habitual liars. And you just be like, goodness, why did they even go there? Nobody even asked them that. They volunteered that information. They didn't even have to say all of that. And that's the one that really baffles me the most, because you could just be minding your business, and someone just happens upon you and they tell you this thing that is so absurd, or so out of, like, you didn't even have to say that. All you had to say was you weren't coming, or that you're going on vacation. You didn't have to come up with this whole other story. So, yes, the habitual liars. The next is to control or manipulate others. Lies can be used to exercise power over others by controlling the information they have access to. So again, that's kind of holding being a guard over information, and maybe saying, no, you're not ready for this, or just withholding information that could be beneficial to someone, maybe elevate them, but you're the gatekeeper for it. Hold on. You're the gatekeeper for it. And when you are trying to hold on to it, yeah, you're blackballing them, by maybe sabotaging their work and not really fully disclosing all the information that could have helped them with that situation, not preparing them, not giving the things that they need to prepare, and then also talking about them, saying like, oh yeah, they're incompetent, they didn't know what they were doing, but meanwhile, you did not disclose everything. I see Auntie Mama's Kitchen is in the building. Oh my goodness, how are you up right now? Because you are up early in the morning. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you. Yes, and I see everyone is speaking. Thank you all that are here live, as well as those that are listening to this on the replay. If you're enjoying this information, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. The next is due to mental health issues or personality disorders. Certain conditions like narcissistic personality disorder or addiction can contribute to persistent lying. And let me tell you, mental health has been a thing even more than ever since C-19. People have had to isolate themselves for a couple of years, and a lot of things has started to reveal themselves. People hadn't been with themselves for that long, in a very long time, and getting to know who they are, or even having that fear factor of the whole thing around C-19 has really made people just really withdraw and develop issues that they did not have before. A lot of people developed anxiety. And so, with that, sometimes they just aren't able to be truthful. Let's see. I see everyone is speaking. I see Rudy is in the building. Thank you for being here at 8:31. So you are on East. No, you're not on Eastern time still. Yes. Okay. Oh, yes. And so I don't know if you all saw on my community post yesterday, I had a picture of the city of Charlotte's skyline, and it was a picture, it was like a storm was rolling in. And when I tell you it was torrential, it started around 4:30 p.m., just a hailstorm, just in some places it was hail, but it was a torrential rain. But in the middle of the night, oof, I don't know what came through. All I know is I slept through it. But this morning, so many people had said they lost power. And um, I know that they're trying to restore power. And I see Auntie Mama's Kitchen just got her power back on. And I am just grateful and thankful that we did not lose power. But I know my husband had to bring in our outdoor, like, decorative pots with plants and stuff inside. I was just hopeful when he did that no chipmunks. We've been having a lot of chipmunks around here lately. I was like, I hope you shook those out, because chipmunks are, I see them all around our front of our house, our neighbors, everything. So, but I'm glad you got your power back for sure. So while lying is generally considered unethical, the motivations behind it can vary greatly depending on the individual and the specific situation. And it's important to foster open and honest communication to build trust in relationships. Trust is so huge. If you can't trust that what a person is saying is true, if you can't trust that when a person is going to do something, or they say they're going to do it, if you can't trust that their feelings, they are sincere, that they have integrity, that they are accountable for their actions, then what do you have left? And that goes to the lying. If they're lying about things, that kind of throws out all those things that you really need. When I was looking through all this, again with AI, they give you several other options after they give information on what you research. So, the next one is how to rebuild trust after lying. And it talks about rebuilding trust after lying in a relationship is a gradual process. And here are some key steps to regain trust. And the first one is full responsibility. I hope that you all are able to hear me. For some reason, my internet kicked off. Please put a red heart in the chat if you can still hear me. Yes, remember that your word is your bond. I remember in high school, people would say that when they would tell you something, they would say, "My word is my bond," you know? And yeah, I knew what you meant. And that meant that what you're saying is true and you could bet the bank on it for sure. Please put a red heart in the chat if you can hear me because I dropped off for a second. I don't know if you recognize or realize that, but I dropped off for a second. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Melvin. I appreciate that. Okay. So the first thing is to take take full responsibility and apologize sincerely. Acknowledge the hurt caused by your lies without making excuses. A genuine apology shows remorse and a willingness to change. A lot of times people will come up with all these excuses, maybe I was never raised to that's how I was raised. I didn't know any better. I thought that's what you wanted to hear. I was scared. I didn't know. They come up with a lot of excuses, and one of the things I learned when I was pledging was excuses are the tools of the weak and incompetent, and those who use them are seldom capable of anything else. And so we definitely don't want to use excuses. You want to be genuine with your apologies. The second is to be completely transparent moving forward. Lying further will only deepen the betrayal. Practice radical honesty, even about seemingly small things. So that's developing those new habits and taking them in small bite sizes, um, just really trying to consciously and intentionally tell the truth. The third is to give the other person time and space to process the betrayal. Rebuilding trust cannot be rushed. Demonstrate trustworthiness through your actions over an extended period. So it's not going to be one and done. So even with those apologies, it doesn't mean that right away the person is going to trust you. You over time you have to build that up with your actions, and you can go and do one great thing right, that next moment, but that does not wipe away the trust that had been lost. You have to do that on a continuous basis. And it's not about apologizing all the time. It's a one and done thing. You apologize, you let them know, I hear you. I don't, the reason, and I apologize, you were hurt about that. I should not have done that. I take ownership. And then you move on, and your actions will be all the rest of the apology that you need, or your actions. The next is identify the root causes behind your dishonesty and work on addressing them, whether through self reflection, counseling, or other means. And this prevents a repeat occurrence. So if you're finding that, lying comes so easily and it's what you do, what you have gotten away with, try to figure out, and that's where that self-reflection comes in, the self-awareness. Why are you doing that? Understand what is the root cause. And there's nothing wrong with going to therapy, going to counseling, and having someone else, a third party, someone that doesn't have a bias toward you, to hear you out and give you strategies and techniques on how to overcome that. The next is be consistent and follow through on your commitments. Keeping promises, no matter how small, reinforces your credibility. And that also goes into communication, being an effective communicator, thinking ahead, not being last minute with your communication. If you are having some challenges, communicate that. Don't try to fake the funk, because again, faking the funk is a lie as well. That will also catch up with you. So definitely, have that follow through on your commitments. And now this one talks about communication. So communicate openly and listen without defensiveness. Understand the other person's perspective and address their concerns patiently. So it's not an argument. Some people think, oh, here we go, we're going to get into it. No, it's a conversation. And if it's really a relationship worth keeping, be it personal or professional, then you want to be able to have that open dialogue and understand where each other are coming from with respect. Have a good night, Auntie Mama's Kitchen. Thank you for stopping by. The next is rebuild what you've had gradually. Emotional relationships may have been damaged, so focus on reconnecting through quality time and shared experiences. And that's kind of getting to know each other again. Have a restart. Everything can have a restart, but you both have to be willing. The person that received it has to be willing to forgive it. And the person that did it has to be willing to also apologize and change because of it. So regaining trust is a challenging journey. It's a long journey, but with genuine remorse, consistent honesty, empathy, and patience from both, it is possible to heal the relationship. And again, this is personal as well as professional. So it is possible, but it's going to take growth on both. It's both parties seeing each other's perspective. So again, with this AI, it even goes deeper and it asks, do you want to know how to identify the root cause of lying in a relationship? And I said, yeah, why would that be? Like, what's really going on in a relationship? What's the root cause of lying? Why do people lie? And so identifying the root cause of lying in a relationship is crucial for addressing the issue effectively. Here are some key steps to uncover the underlying reasons behind the dishonesty. Number one is reflect on the types and patterns of lies. Analyze whether they are lies of omission, exaggeration, denial, or fabrication. This can provide insights into the motivations. All right. The next is have an open and honest conversation in a non confrontational manner. Express your concerns and ask your partner or the other person to explain their reasons for lying. Listen without judgment to understand their perspective. And that goes into that whole communication piece, having an effective conversation around it, and be an active listener. Don't, when you're listening to them after you ask why, explain why are you lying. Don't do it like double dutch where you're just trying to jump in with your response. Really listen to what's going on with them, and then ask follow-up questions. But don't already have your thoughts or your next statement already in mind, because then you're not really being an active listener. Explore potential insecurities or fears. Lies may stem from a fear of conflict, rejection, or losing the relationship. Addressing these underlying insecurities can help resolve the dishonesty. And when that's the case, I believe, when the potential insecurities or fears, counseling really would be the best remedy for that. Because when you have a fear of conflict, rejection, or losing the relationship, if you're lying, that's the time when you will be rejected, you will lose a relationship, and there will be conflict. So you need to comb through and go through those cobwebs of why you have those fears and how to overcome those fears, and realize maybe what your part in those fears are. Maybe realizing that you have no part in those fears, but you definitely can change and increase who you are, by understanding that. That goes back to that self awareness. The next is consider past experiences or trauma. Lying habits could be rooted in past relationships, childhood experiences, or traumatic events that shaped their behavior. So, that goes back to the one before, in exploring those potential insecurities or fears. Those goes back that can go back to the past experiences or traumas. And again, seeking out counseling to really comb through. Don't try to figure that out on your own, because that's the problem. People, it's the insanity piece. You are trying to do the same, well, different things, or the same thing but expecting different results. So if you're just relying on you to make the change, like, okay, I'm gonna do better, but you're doing the same thing you've always done, then you're going to get the same results that you've always gotten. And I see Olivia Love just walked in. How are you this evening? I'm glad you were able to make it too, for sure. You want to assess the desire for control or manipulation. Some individuals lie to maintain power or control in the relationship, which needs to be addressed. If that's the case, if they're trying to, puff up and have control by manipulating you into believing one thing when it's another, playing those mind games, then that needs to be addressed. And I feel that a lot of times when that happens, the person that's receiving it, they seem to hover and cower down, but they know what the deal is. So instead of just allowing them to try and continuously manipulate, call them out on it. Call them out on it. I always say it's my intuition, that um I know God speaks to all of us, absolutely, but I feel it in my soul, in my spirit, in my gut, in my heart, that when things are going on, his voice comes loud and clear to me, where I'm like, whoa, this is really what the situation is. And even though I don't have 2020 vision by a long shot, when I hear his voice, God's voice, it is so clear, and it's telling me when something is not right, when there's a lie in the building, when something just is not right. And I may not always speak on it, but I will definitely be highly aware, and my actions, may even change a bit. I see Slasher Chick has walked in. Great to see you. Thank you for being here. All right. Then the next is to determine if there is a lack of trust, or a lack of trust in the relationship, leading one partner to withhold information or to be dishonest. Trust definitely is a key, and if there is a lack of trust, then that will have people in the relationship, be it personal or professional, to hold back. Because do I trust you with this information? Do I trust you with this project? Do I trust you with my heart? Do I trust you with my love? If you're continuously lying to me, if you're continuously doing bad things, do I trust you with that? And that's a big piece. And I feel like when it gets to that point, and if it's a continuous question, then you may have to question the relationship as a whole. Is it something that is worth maintaining? I mean, this world is filled with billions of people, and you don't have to just be stuck like Chuck in that one scenario thinking that this is it. It's not the end all be all. All right. So again, going through AI, just searching why do people lie, and all the things that they provided. So the next question, or the next topic that they gave me as an option, was how to differentiate between a one time lie and a pattern of lying. And so basically, differentiating between a one time lie and a pattern of lying involves observing certain behaviors and patterns over time. And here are some key factors that can help distinguish the two. And the first is the frequency of lies. A pattern of lying is characterized by repeated instances of dishonesty, even about seemingly insignificant matters. A one time lie is an isolated incident. You know, sometimes people might lie about why they were late. Oh, I'm always on time, but this happened. Well, maybe they overslept. They might say, oh, it was traffic, but really they overslept. So that could be a possible one-time lie. But then they have the consistency of lies with a pattern of lying. The stories or details provided may frequently contradict previous statements or change over time. A one time lie is more likely to remain consistent. Motivation. A one time lie may be motivated by a specific situation or circumstance, such as avoiding punishment or gaining a one time benefit. A pattern of lying often stems from deeper psychological issues or a habit of deception. So some people want to deceive. And if you know that it's a person in your circle that's like that, you really want to keep your head on a swivel when it comes to that, because you definitely don't want to be involved with people that are willing to deceive. You might think the situation is one thing, but it's really another. It could be someone that not they don't wish you well or any good. Just like my mother, I mean, social media was just coming out when she passed away, but I know she would not prefer, all these platforms with pictures and stuff, because she used to always say, don't let everybody have your picture, or don't eat everybody's food, because the deceptions could, you don't know what their well-meaning or being is for what they are giving you or what they're looking at regarding you. Everyone that smiles in your face is not for you, that is for sure. Remorse and accountability. Those who lie habitually may show little remorse or take responsibility for their lies. Even when confronted with evidence, a one time liar is more likely to feel guilty and own up to the lie. And it's interesting when people own up to a lie, because I'm like, are they really owning up to it, or did they get caught in it? Because I wonder if they didn't get caught, would they have come clean on their own? And that's always my question. I see Slasher Chick saying, like that, and don't let anyone do your hair. Yes, don't just let anyone do your hair. Right, exactly. You just never know. That's why I love that my daughters still love me to do their hair. And they come home, and that's one of the reasons why they come home, so I can do their hair. And I know it's a labor of love. Everyone don't mean well. I mean, your hair is your crown and glory, so you want to make sure the person doing it is a good person and has good intentions. Ease of lying. Pathological or compulsive liars often lie effortlessly and without apparent stress or discomfort. A one time lie may be accompanied by signs of anxiety, such as fidgeting, avoiding eye contact, or changes in speech patterns. What? When people have an ease of lying, that's one of those again. Why did you even lie about that? That wasn't even necessary. You no one even asked you. You just That's just what you were saying. And you said it with so much, detail. Like, what's really going on? It's crazy. Impact on relationships. So, a pattern of lying can severely damage trust in a relationship over time. A one time lie, while still harmful, may be more easily forgiven and overcome if addressed properly. And again, that means without argument, fuss, and fight. It's about effective communication, letting them know, listen, um, that I know was not true, and I'm trying to understand, why did you say that? Why would you think it was necessary to go into that type of situation, or to go into that storyline? Because ultimately, distinguishing between a one time lie and a pattern requires observing the individual's behavior, motivations, and responses over an extended period, as well as considering the context and impact of the lies. See, this part right here, when they talk about distinguishing between a one time and all that and over time, that's why for me, you know, I need to know when I'm looking at you. I don't care how crazy it sounds. I need to know what you're saying is true because I don't have time to decipher and try to figure out, is this a pattern? What are you doing? Is this true? Is this real? Is this Memorex? Like what is going on? I need to be able to look at you and know that what you're saying is real because that's for some people, and I think for some people that do that lie, that people that lie, I think for them sometimes it's a game. It's a game to see how far they can go with it, how much they can get over with it. Who can they who can they who can they trick into believing it? And I don't have time for those games. There are some people that do, but I'm not one of them. If you are not one of them too, put a red heart in the comment section, please, in the chat. Put a heart in the chat if you don't have time for it either, because we have too much going on in our lives in this world. There's a lot of things that we're trying to figure out as it is, as a society, as a people, as a person. And then to turn around and have a conversation with someone and they're just blatantly lying and you didn't even ask them the question. Like, but you came to me with this. I didn't even ask you about that. Why would you tell me that? And it's not even true. And, with my participants, because listen, I go hard for my people. Anybody in my circle, and they know this, I go hard for them. I go all the way into the paint, to the basket. I don't care who's defending me. I am going hard for them. But I only can do that if what you're telling me is true. The minute that I find that there is no level of truth and I'm losing the trust, I can't go that hard for you. I may take a jump shot, but I'm not driving to the basket. I'm not. But if I know that, you know what, you gave it your all, you telling me what you telling me is the real, oh, I'm trying to dunk. I can't even dunk, but I'm going to go and try to jump as high as I can. And so that's why I know for me, and not everybody is that passionate. And I get that too, and that's okay. But I am, and I can only speak for myself. But if you are, and then you know what I'm talking about. And if you're not, then so be it. You have time to decipher. You have time to try to understand. Some people like to try to understand. They think it's cute. They think it's fun. They like to have that drama, that level of energy where they are calling up people and saying, "Oh, I think that's this is not true." I don't have time for that. So, I just had this question. Why do people lie? And yes, if I gotta make stuff up, w- I don't, I wanted to be making up stuff about my future. And listen, and I don't even consider that making it up because I know I had a conversation and an idea came to my head and I wrote it down. I put the date on it and I'm like, this might sound far fetched. And you're right, Slasher Chicken. I get that. If I'm gonna talk about something that didn't happen, it's gonna be about the future. And it's going to be something that I'm gonna be working towards. It's going to be what do they call it? Not the affirmation, but it's going to manifestation. It's going to be that type of thing. And I don't look at that as a lie. I look at that as a goal. I look at that as something that came into my soul, and that's what I'm striving towards. It didn't happen yet. I'm not saying it happened today. I'm gonna say it in an affirmative because I'm gonna own it. I'm gonna claim it, but I'm not. It's not something that's gonna bring harm, hurt, or danger to anyone for sure. It's not something that I'm trying to deceive anyone about. It's not something I'm trying to get over on. It's something that I'm actually going to take action steps towards. It's something that I'm going to strategize to try and obtain. So that to me, that's completely different than a lie. But there might be some liars that believe that their lies are that as well. But it's not. It's not. Mm-hmm. Yes, that is for planning. for planning purposes. Yes, because I surely wrote down something really huge today, and hey, who knows? And but you know what? I wrote it down, but I'm not going to just write it there and leave it. I'm definitely going to take action steps towards it to see how it can happen. But you know what, y'all? I appreciate you all for being here. The 500 plus. You know what? It's going to be about 1,000 plus people that are going to watch the replay. So I want to thank you for tuning into my channel. For those of you that made it into the live, I see Slasher Chick. I see Olivia Love. Auntie Mama's Kitchen was in the building. Rudy with autism. Melvin Pittman, you were first in line. Thank you. I appreciate you all for being here this evening on my day 39 of 90. Y'all, this is getting easier as we go, and it's been my pleasure sharing this with you. If you are new to this channel, or if you're not new, you've been coming through, you've been checking me out and just wondering, who is she? Well, who I am is who I am. It's nothing much different than what you see. Please be sure to subscribe, join the team, join this tribe. I would love to have you. Hit the bell for notification. Give this video a thumbs up if you've liked the information that was shared. The question again this evening for me was, why do people lie? All right, everyone, until we speak again, which will be tomorrow, I want you to stay safe and practice. Practice so hard every day that when you get in the game, you will always play to win. I am Coach Sherry.